Here, I'll show you how to create a dynamically updated drop-down list or menu. Now I'm assuming you've already created a drop-down list or menu using data validation. So here I've got 3 products and I've got my drop-down list right here. But what happens if I want to add another product, say lumber? Well, it's not going to be included here. And we want it to be so that if the list is updated over here, the drop-down menu is also going to be updated. And it's pretty simple to do. So let's begin by going to the data validation window. Simply Alt-D-L, or in Excel 2007, Data, Data Tools, Data Validation. Now the shortcut Alt-D-L is going to work for all versions of Excel, so no problem. Now notice the list that I already have here is an absolute range, A2 to A4, so that's why it's not going to update anything. So what we need to do is to use the offset and the count A function here instead. Now we can type equals offset open parentheses, but as you notice, the little Excel helper doesn't pop up here. So if you have a hard time remembering all the arguments to enter, the best way for you to do this is close the data validation window and write your function out here first. So the function for a dynamic list is going to be equals offset, O-F-F-S-E-T, open parentheses. Now the first thing you select is the reference. So the reference is going to be the first item in the list. Do not select the title, product, but the first thing, comma. The next is a row, which we're going to put for 0, and the next a column. Now these 2 zeros, one for rows and one for column, simply means we don't want the reference here to move. If we put something else instead of zeros here, it would tell the offset function that we want our reference cell to be one to the right, or up, or down, or left. So that's what that means. The most important part is the next one, so comma. Now we choose the height. So how high do we want it to be? Well, we're going to use the count A function for that. So C-O-U-N-T-A, open parentheses. And now, if you're in Excel 2007, simply select the entire column. Previous versions of Excel may only allow you to use a certain range reference, so say cell A1 to A500, but not the entire column. So now close the count A, and we're going to do -1. Then close the offset function, close parentheses. Now the -1 is simply here because the count A function is going to count all non-empty cells. So this right here is going to also count the product cell. And that means it's going to give us one extra cell that we don't want in our list, basically. Because what it's going to do, it's going to go to the reference cell and count down 5, because it includes the product cell, but we don't want it to count down that one extra 1. So that's what the -1 means. Now hit enter. And don't worry about what it spits out here. Simply highlight all of this, copy it, Control C, hit escape, go up to our menu here, go Alt-D-L, and down here in the source window, delete all of this, and let's go ahead and paste our offset function in there. And now you can see it highlights all of the cells in the list. Let's go ahead and click OK. If we add something else here, we shall see the list has updated. So screws and metal are now updated here. If we delete all but the first 2, we can see that the list updates, so only saw and hammer. But go back. So now it's dynamically updated, and anytime you add anything to the next row, it's going to update in the list here. Now don't worry about this sample thing that we created. Go ahead and delete that. The other things to know are, let's go back to the data validation window. I explained what the -1 here meant. Now if you have more than one title above your list, you're going to have to subtract as many cells as you have text or numbers in which are above your list. So if above product I had the name, so John Doe, then product, then my list, I would have to put a -2 here, not a -1. So I would have to make this -1, -2. If I had 3 cells with text or numbers above the beginning of my list, it would have to be a -3. So that's how that works. And also, if you wanted to, you could put this as a named reference. So you wouldn't have to actually put the offset function in your data validation. You could use a named reference, but that's another tutorial. So that's how you can make a dynamically updating list or menu that drops down.